Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Christopher Lloyd, and I'm presenting tonight a video for you uh, of my testimony on a serious situation we're having not only in the state of Georgia, but also in the United States of America as well. This information I found out recently. Also, I've been collecting this information for most of my life, since the age of 14 years old, when I first became aware of this serious situation. There's a serious problem in the state of Georgia I'm aware of involving a child porn snuff film making a kidnapping organized crime ring protected by the Atlanta Police Department and corrupt officials in other offices of the state. I was propositioned by this ring when I was 14 and again when I was 16 years old to have sex with other minors in front of a group of men who claimed they were connected to the governor of Georgia. I was offered a position in the house to be paid $15 an hour, playing video games and using whatever drugs you want, and having sex with other teenagers who watch the house high on drugs all day to be recorded on video having sex. I refused this proposition and was followed home daily for 3 days straight by red and black cars with legally tinted windows, being intimidated by the driver driving the speed I was walking the whole time on my way home. There was a snitch, a local snitch, that I knew in my neighborhood, who framed me 1 week later. This snitch set me up with the police a week after I refused this proposition, and I am aware that this snitch that I know of is working for this crime ring. So this was somebody, this snitch was somebody that could help control who knew about the crime ring on the street and could snitch out people who knew too much information, get them locked up. If it became a problem for the ring, they could get them locked up as well by framing them, snitching on them if they were into things on the street. Now, I'm one of the people that oppose this ring that they want locked up in prison. I wrote every single FBI field office in the USA and the Department of Justice, Attorney General, and every agency you can think of. I was almost murdered in 2019 after writing the FBI on the Atlanta Police Department. In my apartment, they tried to kill me. And again in 2020, I was almost murdered again by criminals working for police officers to carry out hits on me put out by the police. I have not heard anything about this from anybody after writing all these complaints, and nobody has contacted me about this. What I think happens with my complaints is that law enforcement realize how damaging this information is and how badly it would affect the public, and then they don't do anything at all. That is a violation of my rights to be a protected U.S. citizen in this country. I was told that this snitch's father has child porn snuff films in his possession at his house that involve police officers acting in them, as well as wealthy and famous influential people, some of which in Hollywood, that you see on movies on TV. This confidential informant that I knew in my neighborhood, one of his best friends told me that he had been in a snuff film at a place called the Pink Mansion, where he raped a little girl. The snitch raped a little girl, stabbed her to death, then raped her again on film. And that this snitch got paid lots of money to do it when he was only 13 years old. The snitch told me that he has been to this Pink Mansion at this house where there were lots of teenage boys and girls with soulless eyes, using drugs and going into rooms having sex with older men. I have seen very suspicious vans at this house pulling in and out of the back, white and purple vans. One of the drivers of the vans was in one of the red and black cars that followed me home one night, intimidating me. These vans went in and out of the back parking lot of Everybody's Pizza in Virginia Highlands often. That's Virginia Highlands in Atlanta, Georgia. This CI's father, this snitch's father, is also involved in the ring as well and brought his son into it when he was very young. The father of this confidential informant is the one who had the police officers in the Atlanta Police Department make him a snitch. And these officers in the Atlanta Police Department frequent the Pink Mansion to have sex with underage teenagers and children. This must be one of the reasons why I've written the police over 4 times, the FBI over 15 times now, and nobody has responded to my complaints. These people are above the law because they have collateral on the police, and that collateral is their recorded evidence of police officers committing criminal underage sex acts. I was told that this is how these rings operate. They find the people in authority that can take them out, and they incriminate them by way of underage sex recorded on video, including politicians in Congress and even some of the presidents of the United States of America. They incriminate them in this way to affect policy, lawmaking, and of course, who gets arrested and who doesn't. These are the most untouchable people in the world because the police will fight for their lives to keep them out of trouble, because keeping them out of trouble keeps themselves out of trouble as well. And these people have very powerful positions and an infinite amount of ways to hide their corruption. What do you call it when I'm being targeted by a biased court and Department of Police and intentionally ignored while favor is given to my opponents because of corruption in public office? I'm being targeted and scrutinized for any minor violation of the law, while my complaints of the most heinous felonies are completely ignored by just about every law enforcement agency in America and even the world. This is not such a perfect country as free from corruption as the public thinks it is. Sometimes it is the ones that enforce the law that can get away with the most crime, and especially the worst crime too. Child pornography, where little children are murdered in the end of the film. Snuffed at the end of the film. I was almost murdered in 2010 by 2 vehicles that boxed me in on the street and tried to shoot me. These vehicles were red and black and had legally tinted windows. When I was at CVS Pharmacy one day in 2010, they remotely unlocked my car door 3 times to make me recognize their power over me, that they could frame me, is what they were insinuating. And I looked through the parking lot. I found the cars that were doing this. 2 of them, both of them one was red, one was black, with legally tinted windows, and both of them looked like undercover police officers. I got their tag numbers. When I went to get their tag numbers, they drove off suspiciously. I wrote the FBI about that. And then I was almost killed by being boxed in by 2 cars again, red, black, with legally tinted windows, boxed in and almost shot with an automatic weapon. What looked like an automatic weapon. I wrote the FBI about that, and again, my complaints were ignored at this point. And I was almost killed again. I need this investigated, but nobody wants this investigated, including the FBI. Nobody wants to incriminate their own people. And plus, this would be horrible information for the public to know, for corrupt politicians and police officers protecting organized crime or incriminated by this type of organized crime. I'm a whistleblower, but nobody wants this to be on the news. It is so ugly that I have found most people wait for me to die than try to help. Please help me, people, before it's too late. I'm setting up a GoFundMe on GoFundMe.com. You can search for a Citizens Oversight Committee and Private Police Force is the title of my campaign. My name is Michael Christopher Lloyd. You can find me on GoFundMe, a Citizens Oversight Committee and Private Police Force. You can help me fund that campaign, and I will do everything I can in my power to uncover this whole world of what is right now an underworld of criminals in the United States using police officers to help them break the law and kidnap children, traffic children, and make snuff films out of them. This is going on all over the nation. It's one of the best kept secrets in the world on this earth, and for very good reason. It would incriminate the people that you thought the world of, it maybe at one point, but were targeted by these organized crime rings to be corrupted in order to protect organized crime. human traffickers, kidnappers in the United States of America, child pornography makers, and snuff film makers. Again, my name is Michael Christopher Lloyd. You can find me on GoFundMe.com, a Citizens Oversight Committee, and private police force. I'll be back with more videos, more information as more things develop. I had to flee this country as a refugee back in 2019. Whistleblowers like me are in great danger. I'm taking a very big risk here making this video. Please help if you can on GoFundMe. Please watch this channel, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to these videos, and watch my blog. I'll have more information for you soon. Michael Christopher Lloyd, have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning wherever you are. Thank you very much. Bye.